Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Toronto Blue Jays. Tuesday Night Baseball is presented by Verizon. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Verizon. Don't miss a moment of Mets baseball on the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network, only from Verizon. By Mazda, driving matters. By Astoria Bank. At Astoria Bank, the difference is wanting to make a difference. Visit AstoriaBank.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit Geico.com for a free rate quote. Iconic notions of the city. The view of the Freedom Tower. Lady Liberty sitting in the harbor. The Dark Knight trying to reach back for iconic status. He goes to the mound tonight. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play Game 2 of their 4-game home-and-home series against the Toronto Blue Jays. You know, this is the final game of the homestand for the Mets, which did not start well. They got no hit by the Giants, lost behind Harvey the next night. But since then, the Mets have won 4 of 5, and they have shown quite a bit of grit along the way.
Well, they've been a resilient ball club, and I think every team is a reflection of their manager. I think Terry Collins has been exhorting this ball club, but he has looked to the youth and the return of Travis d'Arnaud, who's been hitting .310 coming into the game. I think a heck of a hitter. He brings an energy when he plays behind the plate. He's very much involved. And also Dilson Herrera at second base. He brings a really fine glove at second base, can turn the double play. He's hit a home run in this homestand. I think he's got a heck of a future in front of him. And then the big surprise is Daryl Siciliani. He's come up now and was just going to be a 4th or 5th outfielder. He's played himself into a position where he's getting a lot more playing time. I think these 3 guys have brought energy to this ball club. Youth is eternal, and the Mets are trying to end this homestand with a sweep of a very red-hot team. And with Michael Kadire out of the lineup tonight, Siciliani will be back in there behind Matt Harvey, who really for the first time in his major league career is in a slump. The last 4 starts have not been good. The last one against the Giants was the worst of all. He's got to get back on the beam. Well, he's lost 3 of his last 4 starts. In 2 of those games, he's given up 7 runs. And over those 4 starts, he's given up 8 home runs. The long ball has really affected him. The Giants, a very good contact hitting lineup, really beat him up pretty good. So he's looking to bounce back and get this club on the right track and get himself on the right track before they go on a long road trip. Mets beat the powerful Blue Jays last night in 11, snapping Toronto's 11-game winning streak. What can the Mets do tonight beyond Harvey? Mets and Blue Jays, all the action coming your way on SNY.
to you by Hospital for Special Surgery, the official hospital of the New York Mets. By Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Speak with Jonathan Ginsburg in Oceanside or David Grodner in Brooklyn today. And by Citi. Citi is calling up a local restaurant to be featured at Citi Field this season. Vote for a favorite now at Mets.com/Citi-Call-Ups. First post-game concert of the season is Saturday, June 27th, when the Mets play the Reds, featuring the Steve Miller Band. It's all presented by Pepsi, and it's all included in the price of your ticket. Purchase tickets online at Mets.com/concerts. SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. And tonight's Game Changer is brought to you by T-Mobile. Jose Reyes, since 2013 when he joined the Jays, has been far more successful in victories than in losses. He, you might say, is the game changer, which fits perfectly with T-Mobile's idea of what we should be talking about. Speaking of game changers, Matt Harvey strolling in for his 13th start, trying to get back to his winning ways. Now, you said before that the Mets are going for a sweep of the series, and I'm thinking to myself, it's a four-game series.
Right.
How do you best describe this series? Because if it was a postseason series and you go from one city to the other, it's all one big series.
I think it's a sweep of a home series. That's what I feel. I think they're separate, even though it's a four-game set.
Okay.
So this would be, either way you slice it, this is a good way to kick off a road trip.
That starts tomorrow in Toronto against the same team. Thus, it's all one series. There's your Hyundai starting lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Make your point, Garrett.
Who had their 11-game winning streak stopped last night. Jose Reyes saw an 11-game hitting streak come to an end last night. Ezequiel Carrera gets a start in center field. Russell Martin, who had most of the night off last night, is behind the plate. Otherwise, the same unit for John Gibbons.
And there's Big Matt. As we said, lost 3 of his last 4 games, off to a real red-hot start. Those are his Jeep numbers. As you can see, his whip is excellent, but that's come up his last 4 starts. And, of course, the alarming amount of home runs that he's given up. 12 home runs on the year thus far. So I take into consideration, and we'll do the defense first, Gary, Alexis Met defense. Siciliano with his 5th start in left field. He's earned some starts, like the way he swings the bat. Young Dilson Herrera, Wilmer Flores up the middle, and d'Arnaud behind the plate. I forgot the point I was
You were going to talk about Matt and
well, let's just
the home runs that he's
the home. Well, you know, when Smoltz was in here, John, when the MLB was doing the broadcast, and what John had to say, and there's Jose Reyes, about when he had Tommy John surgery, and he said, I remember him emphatically saying, I don't care who you are, it's not going to be the same. So this is an adjustment year for Matt. And remember, Smoltz said he had to change his way he threw his breaking ball.
His slider. He said he couldn't throw his slider the same way anymore.
So, and he said, you think you've got it and you feel like you got it, but it's not there. So this is a year where it's going to be, you know, he's going to have to adjust on the fly, Matt, and we'll see how it shakes for him here. He needs to bust out and get back into form for this Met ball club.
Well, you know how important it is to him and how seriously he takes each start. And he's been a little shell-shocked these last few times out. That last start against San Francisco particularly, 7 runs in 6 innings. Struck out only 2. First time in his career he hadn't struck out at least 3 batters in a start.
Yeah, this game is a great humbler. You know, you think you got it figured out, and this game will always come back and bite you.
He'll take on Jose Reyes to lead off. Reyes sitting at 290. First pitch of the night by Harvey is a fastball for a strike, and we're underway. 97 on the first offering from Matt. Velocity has not been the issue for Matt. In fact, in his last start against the Giants, he had his highest fastball average velocity of the season. And he misses outside, a ball and a strike.
Well, one thing's for certain, Matt is a very hard worker, and it won't be for a lack of effort of trying to get himself back in the groove.
Keeps it away from Reyes, and it's 2-1. We've talked about the home run numbers because I think that's the most alarming piece for Harvey, the amount of hard contact that's been made, especially against his best fastballs. Good change up there, and he gets even on Reyes. 2-2.
Well, Reyes took an 0 for 5 last night, and he was for the Mets. He's a leadoff hitter. He's a catalyst for a ball club. You got to keep him off the bases.
2-2. Popped it up on the infield. Flores and Herrera going for it, and Flores calls, and that's the first out of the night. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Harvey has given up 7 home runs on fastballs of 95 and above, and I guess that speaks to location more than anything else.
Well, it most times, yes. But you never know when a hitter, you know, he might be looking in, Gary, and you make a good pitch, and he's looking in, and he burns you.
Well, we saw that last night with Jose Bautista on a couple of occasions. Here's Donaldson, who took an 0 for 5 last night.
I have not seen someone so quick inside as that Jose Bautista.
An inside fastball against Syndergaard, did the same against Familia. Familia's was off the plate inside. That's how good it was. Slider from Harvey, and it's 1-1 to Donaldson, who's having a great season for Toronto in his first year after coming over in a trade from Oakland. Donaldson 8th in the American League in batting, 5th in home runs, 3rd in RBIs,
Interesting.
1st in runs scored. And Harvey is 1 foul.
Sorry, Gary, I apologize. Right now, first inning, first 2 batters, we're just in the infancy of this game, in the infancy of Harvey's start. A lot of changeups.
He's thrown all 4 of his pitches already through his first 8 pitches of the game. And he misses high with the fastball at 98. 2-2 to Donaldson. Just to give you an idea how alarming the home run numbers have been for Matt, and you know, clearly these last 4 starts have been an aberration for him. No Met pitcher had given up 8 home runs in a 4-start span since 2009 when Pat Mish, remember Pat Mish, the lefty, he gave up 8 home runs in a 4-game span, and no Met pitcher had done that until Harvey these last 4. 3-2 to Donaldson, and he lifts it to right field. Granderson is easing back to get it, and that's the second out.
Excellent 3-2 slider. Good spot.
Well, we talked about Bautista last night. Here it is.
So quick, and see, it's fluid swing, no extra muscle on it. That's a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and there's a hard sinker that didn't sink because it was belt high, but was almost 3-4 inches inside corner and turned on it. I have not seen someone that quick inside in decade.
That's how you hit 54 in a season, as Bautista did in 2010. And he's now hit 200 home runs since the start of the 2010 season, more than anybody else in the major leagues.
Well, they say there's no guy that he's forever on the computer looking at tape. Smart hitter. I mean, to be successful in the big leagues, you have to have a knowledge of in category, whether you do it writing it in the book like Delgado did, or it's in your back of your head, how a pitcher likes to pitch you. What are his tendencies here? Much more difficult today with the 3 divisions and interleague play.
Interesting pitch there by Harvey, a 2-0 changeup to get a strike on Bautista out of the strike zone. Right at Herrera, had him positioned perfectly. Harvey keeps it away from Bautista, and he has himself a 1-2-3 opening inning. Good start for Harvey. Mets come to bat at the bottom of the first against Scott Copeland with no score. Curtis Granderson wearing Babe Ruth's number, wandering into the batter's box. There's your Geico Mets starting lineup. Granderson had most of the night off last night. So did Travis d'Arnaud. He's back in there as the cleanup hitter. Second time in 3 days Michael Kadyr's out of the lineup. So Siliani the start in left. And Scott Copeland in his second big league start throws a first pitch strike to Granderson.
4th appearance, 2 relief appearances, and now a second start. University of Southern Mississippi grad alum. Big shift on Granderson.
Granderson pops it up. Only one man on the left side of the infield. That's Donaldson, and he goes back to get it for the first out. So 1 out and nobody on. Juan Lagares coming up.
Juan been a little red hot lately, and we'll take a look at the Coors Light Blue Jay defense. See if they can do a better job of the outfield today. I'm very impressed with Bautista out in right field. Made nice plays out there. Encarnacion is really not a first baseman. Reyes, of course, we got to mention him. Former Met. Russell Martin back in the lineup, the all-star catcher.
Lagares 1 for 5 last night, had an RBI double as the Mets came from behind. Getting 341 over the last 10 games. Nothing in 2 to Lagares with Lucas Duda on deck. Mark Burley pitched last night at a rapid pace, as he always does, and maybe Scott Copeland's taking some lessons. He's getting it and throwing it.
Another come from behind Met win last night.
Easy hop for Reyes to handle, and a strong throw against Lagares for the second out.
Mets have been winning in comeback fashion, Gare, which is very uplifting, and I can sense in the clubhouse and when I'm reading in the paper that this team is energized and feels like they're never out of a game. I really think that game against the Braves, the final game of the series when they came back down 8-3, I think that really might be, when it's all said and done, might be one of the critical games of the year.
Here's Duda, who got a day off on Friday and since then has put together 3 straight multiple hit games. 6 for 14 last night. Had the game tying hit on the unlikely pop fly single that scored Kadire, and then he scored the winning run.
Big shift on Duda. Oh, nice play.
The Lows never stop improving. Lucas now all alone in second place in the National League in doubles.
Well, the left fielder now is not playing him in the next county like last night on that little bloop single he got that tied the ball game.
It's very interesting because John Gibbons today said that looking at it again, he thought that he played the outfield too deep against Duda, that they should have compensated for the fact that this ballpark is a lot bigger than their home ballpark at Rogers Center. There's a little flare into center field and a base hit for Duda. So the Mets have the first base runner of the night on a 1-2 slider from Copeland.
Big, a little hanging slider. Lucas has been a little out in front of breaking pitches and off-speed pitches. But you know something, Garrett, no matter what ballpark you're playing in, whether it's the Grand Canyon, what comes to mind, this is one of the biggest ballparks in the National League, if not the league, you still don't play. I know the rules no doubles, but you don't play on almost the cut of the grass in the warning track.
Donaldson on the backhand goes the short way to get the force, and that retires the side. So a hit and 1 left. We go to the second. Mets and Jays, no score. Exclusive ticket offer to see the Mets play at Citi Field throughout the summer. For Mets tickets, go online to Mets.com.
Aha.
A Jays fan has migrated.
I wouldn't recommend that one. Some malo sombrero.
Matt Harvey pitched a 1-2-3 first inning. Edwin Encarnacion leads off the second. Encarnacion 1 for 3, a double last night, as an 8-game hitting streak working. Coming back from a shoulder injury that has limited him a bit, and he drills that one down the left field line. He's got himself the Jays' first hit. Siciliani cuts it off. Encarnacion trying for 2. The throw coming in not in time. So Encarnacion has his 10th double of the year, and the first base runner of the night for Toronto.
like a hanging slider, belt high, out over the plate. And you can see a rip to left field. Doesn't run well, but he can smell this double.
He was going to have to hustle once Siciliani cut that ball off. So a 9-game hitting streak for Encarnacion. In trouble for Harvey here in the second. Chris Colabello, the batter. And he takes a slider for a strike. Colabello 2 for 5 last night. He's been one of the big surprises for Toronto this year. Former Minnesota Twins hitting .345 through his first 148 at bats.
Made a terrific play at first base. And that bottom of the 11th robbed a base hit. Oh my! He moved the first base from left.
And first base is his natural position. But he's become the most of the time left fielder with the injury to Michael Saunders that's put him on the sidelines for much of the season. You see what he's done with runners in scoring position, emblematic of what the Jays have done as a team. They're hitting .299 as a team with runners in scoring position. And the reasons they've scored 66 more runs than any other team in the major leagues. 1-2 to Colabello. Russell Martin waiting on deck. I found out something about you that I didn't know.
What's that?
Last night. Your extensive knowledge of the bird kingdom. Now, I have a controversy that I'd like you to try and solve, being the bird expert you are.
I'm not a bird expert, but go ahead.
Okay. The Toronto Blue Jays are the Blue Jays.
Right.
Blue Jays, 2 words.
Right.
The Creighton University Blue Jays are the Blue Jays. 1 word. Which is correct?
Oh, I don't know.
1 word or 2?
I wouldn't know.
But you knew about the tufted titmouse.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Which is 2 words or 3? That's 2.
2. The reason why I like the titmouse is because it's got a crest, tufted, like a cardinal, but it's gray. And it's a beautiful name for a bird.
Harvey working hard on Colabello. With Encarnacion at second. And a half swing. Did he go? Nope. Held it in time.
I agree.
First base umpire Sean Barber. Barber, by the way, joined the crew for this game tonight.
No way he swung.
You might remember Marty Foster, who was umpiring home plate last night, got hit in the mask by a foul ball, had to leave the game. So he is not on the crew tonight. Mike McClinsky is calling the balls and strikes. 2-2 from Harvey. Hit to short, trying to advance Encarnacion, and he's going to be a dead duck. That is just horrendous base running
from a veteran. That's not good.
Ground ball in front of him, and he's out by a mile.
You just got to wonder what he's thinking, and he's dead as a duck.
Which is another kind of bird.
Yes, you're right. Now the rule here for you youngsters out there is that the ball hit right at the shortstop or to his right towards third baseline, you don't advance. Ball hit to the left of the shortstop where he's got to go up the middle, then you advance. Or a slow roller, you can advance.
So Colabello at first on the fielder's choice. Russell Martin takes a slider for a strike.
Just one last little thing I did today. We're going on a long road trip. I had to load up all my bird feeders, and I have 2 bird baths too. I filled them up with water. I take care of my birds.
Did you do that with 1 arm or 2?
1.
That's very impressive.
I have a special kind of hose that's in a case, and it comes out and it recoils back in. It's very nice.
Ezekiel Carrera on deck. Russell Martin having a terrific season, especially of late. He's already got 10 home runs, 1 fewer than he hit all of last year with the Pirates. Career high 21 home runs came with the Yankees in 2012. Harvey ahead 0-2, and Martin just got a piece of that slider.
Well, Martin, we learned we're going to do the umpires here.
I know Mike Winters, the crew chief, who had to move behind the plate last night, so he's at third. Mark Wagner at second, the younger umpire Sean Barber at first, and Mike McClinsky has the plate.
Barber is the replacement, correct?
Right. Harvey looking for his first strikeout of the night. And he gets Martin with a high heat, 99 miles an hour from that. And that's the second out of the inning.
Well, ahead 0-2, goes right after him. It's got a lot of plate, but upstairs swung right through it.
So 2 out. Colabello still at first. I was surprised to see Martin had never faced Harvey before. In fact, the only batter in the lineup who has faced Harvey is this guy, Ezekiel Carrera, who's bounced around from Cleveland to Philly to Detroit, now Toronto. He's had 1 at bat against Harvey. He's the only Jay in the lineup who's seen him before. Carrera came off the bench last night. He walked in his only plate appearance and scored the go-ahead run in the 11th inning before the Mets rallied to win into the bottom of the 11th. Carrera started out his career in the Mets farm system, spent 4 years in the Mets organization trying to butt his way on. He fouls it off. He topped out at Port St. Lucie and then was part of that enormous trade the Mets made with Seattle when they traded away Andy Chavez, and they got J.J. Putz and Sean Green, the pitcher Sean Green, in that deal. Carrera was part of that one. And he has had a number of stops since. Colabello at first and 2 out. Carrera right in front of the grounder. And he throws out the speedy Carrera to end the inning. A leadoff double, no problem for Harvey. No score going to the bottom of the second. Home second inning. Sunlight flashing through the stands. Wilmer Flores, who had the walk-off hit in the 11th inning last night, leads off for the Mets in the second. Wilmer's got 16 RBIs in his last 20 games. Up to 31 for the year to lead the team. And he bounces one foul, and it's 1-1.
Well, this is game for the Mets, game 66. So we got 15 games to the break.
I mean 15 games to the mid-season.
Mid-season, excuse me. Yes. The official halfway mark.
The statistical
yes.
halfway mark.
Gotcha.
As opposed to the traditional midseason classic. Drilled to center field away from Carrera, and that ball's going to go all the way back to the wall. Flores continues to hit the ball hard. A leadoff double to start the Mets in the home second.
Wilmer's been staying in. He likes that ball mid-thigh, and what I've seen, he's not pulling off here. Earlier in the year, a little antsy, probably a little jitters, nerves, but now settled in, and he's starting to rake, making that man very happy, Kevin Long.
Well, the Mets have their second hit of the night, and Daryl Siciliani. It's a little bit of a mystery that Kadyr's not in the lineup today because he got a day off in the final game of the series on Sunday against Atlanta. Played last night, had that nice dash from first base on Dudas hit in the 11th, then sitting out again today. Siciliani bluffing in a bunt on a high curveball. Ball one.
And it's interesting that the Blue Jays are playing the corners in. Early in the ball game, you're going to bunt with your sixth hitter. I just don't think so. The left-hand hitter at that can pull the ball naturally.
And he's been swinging the bat well, and he takes one through the hole for a base hit. Flores will be held up at third as Colabello gets it into the cutoff man. And so Siciliani, 7 hits now in his last 15 at bats, and the Mets have first and third and nobody out.
Well, he goes the other way well, Garrett, what I've seen, and that is a plus. And that is how you hit a ball in the outside corner. He's a hitter.
He continues to make a bid for more and more playing time. So now Ruben Tejada. Ruben gave the Mets a lead in the 6th inning last night with an opposite field double. Jays have played their infield at double play depth, concede a run to try and get a couple of outs. That's facing Scott Copeland, making just his second big league start. His first one was last Wednesday against the Marlins, and he pitched very well, just 1 run in 7 innings. He was sent down after that start, but then when Aaron Sanchez, whose spot he had taken, went on the disabled list with a lat injury, they were able to call Copeland right back up. His specialty is keeping the ball in the ballpark.
As most sinker ball pitchers do.
He has not allowed a home run this year in the major leagues or the minor leagues. 45 innings in the minors, 10 more innings in the big leagues. That is Nate Eovaldi going back to Miami and getting trashed in the first inning by the Marlins. Takes a big cut, fouls it off his leg, 2-1.
Tejada got a big hit in yesterday's ball game, and that drove in the second run of that 2-run 6th inning. They gave the Mets the lead on an opposite field soft liner that got by Batista.
And that was kind of an odd read by Batista, who was trying to deke the runner and ended up deking himself.
And the ball skipped by him, and Ruben had himself an RBI double instead of an RBI single.
By the way, it's now 8-0 Miami, still in that first inning. I'm telling you, watch out for the Marlins.
Really? I think they got to. I'm not sold on them.
Starting to get their pitching in order. Get Fernandez back in a couple of weeks.
Need to get the other guy back too, Henderson Alvarez.
Yeah, that I don't know if they're going to get him back. He's been so often hurt. But Latos is back. Cole is pitching well. Herron has been good all year.
Yes, he has. Guy that was ready to hang it up.
And you have to love their young outfield, not just Stanton, but the other 2 guys too. 2-1 to Tejada, and he pulls it through the hole, a base hit, and the Mets grab the early lead. Flores is in to score. 3 straight hits for the Mets. Ruben Tejada with the RBI, and it's 1-0 New York.
Well, Copeland is up with his pitches, and when you're a sinker ball pitcher and you're up belt high, no movement. Ruben keeps the shoulder in. What Ruben is doing lately, since he's been playing a little more, I haven't seen him over swinging, Gary, like he can, and hitting the ball in the air. Ruben's got hit the ball on the ground, line drives.
So now Dilson Herrera, still nobody out in the inning. Herrera 1 for 4 last night. He takes in tight from Copeland.
25-11 at home, the Mets this year. You remember the day? It wasn't too long ago they couldn't win at home.
It was last year. Mets lost the first 2 games of this homestand, but they've won 4 of 5 since, and probably should have won the other one. Double play ball. Donaldson with a step on third and the throw across the diamond for the 5-5-3 double play. So 2 out, and Tejada moves to second.
Nice heads up by Donaldson. Close enough to the bag. Ball hit hard enough to get rid of one throw, make the tag, and go across the diamond.
So 2 out. Tejada at second. Here's Matt Harvey. 2 hits this year. 2 for 24. Looking for his first run batted in. And that groups one in foul territory, and it'll go untouched. Encarnacion did not make much of an effort to go after that ball.
Bloops one. That was wow. Matt.
That's hit to center field, and that's going to go up the gap and all the way to the wall. Tejada is in. Harvey cruises into second base with an RBI double, his first run batted into the season, and the Mets have a 2-0 lead. Now, we saw very early in his career what Matt's capable of with the bat. He has struggled, but this was hit well.
Right down the pipe, Garen. Up. Can't pitch upstairs when you're not an overpowering pitcher and you're a sinker ball pitcher.
Does that make up for the foul ball that you're chastising that for?
I wasn't chastising. I was just
commiserating.
That is a definite turnaround.
Here's Granderson, and he takes the curveball low and in, ball 1. 5th career double for Matt. His first extra base hit this season. More mid pitchers who can hit. Granderson and DeGrom and Syndergaard looking on.
I thought Syndergaard threw a very nice ball game. He always brings that. It's like Wheeler every time he's out there. He's throwing 97, 98.
Did you hear what Terry said today though about Syndergaard last night? He threw 32 pitches in that first inning. And Terry said, you know, he was about 5 pitches away from being pulled in the first inning. He said we were not going to let him throw 40 pitches in the first inning. So he righted himself and then was spectacular once that first inning came to a close.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. Is that coming from on high?
No, it's what they do with a lot of the young pitchers in the minor leagues. They don't let them throw more than a certain number of pitches in an inning. Try to protect them. Ostensibly.
I think the old dinosaurs have to kind of maybe bite their tongue a little bit in today's game.
Well, Noah Syndergaard has now made 7 starts, and he's up with the Mets elite as far as strikeouts through 7 starts. Had 11 last night. That's pulled to first and caught by Encarnacion in foul territory to end the inning. But the Mets with 4 hits in the second inning. Wilmer Flores got it started with a double. Ruben Tejada drove in a run, and so did Matt Harvey. And Harvey and the Mets have a 2-0 lead going to the 3rd. Lead, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, as I'm sure everybody's noticed, the Mets grounds crew led by Bill Deacon has gotten pretty fancy here recently out in center field. They've got a large Mets logo that is so perfect. Got me thinking, how do you do that on grass? Now, it's a pretty intricate process. First thing they did is they had to scale out that Mets logo. They took the Mets logo behind the mound, scaled it out 48 times to get the correct measurements. Then they put an outline in center field using strings and flags for the curvatures of the lines. Once that was done, then they started the mowing process. If you mow into the grass, into the infield, that's where you get the dark contrast. If you move away from the infield, that's where you get the light contrast. Now, the straight lines, that's easy enough. But how do you get those curves of the letters in those grass lines? And the way to do this, they use a couple of different methods. Sometimes it's a hose that they pour water on it and get that grass tilted one way. Other times they use a broom to tilt it. Took about the better part of a day to get that thing out there the first time they did it. Going to keep it out there until the All-Star break.
It is incredibly impressive. There's no question about that. The grounds crews these days have really outdone themselves.
Yes, I agree. Plus, their main purpose, I feel, as an infielder, is to have that dirt on that infield manicured. I tell you what, Pete Flynn back in the old days at Shea, that was a great infield. I think the only guy that ever complained about the infield was one time Howard Johnson complained about it. And of course, I love Howard, but Howard was our worst defender on the infield.
Well,
he's the one that made the complaint.
After you were gone, Vince Coleman complained about the base paths. He had that infamous quote where he said Pete Flynn was keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. You weren't around for that.
I wasn't paying attention.
Guys, the other interesting thing about how they've done this, the intricate work out there can only be done at certain times of the year, only around this time and in September, because that's when the bluegrass, it's at its peak for growing. The other times during the year, they risk injuring the grass and having a problem with the grass as they do it. So this time and then in September, you might see something else special.
Well, I love all the different patterns they can cut into the field. There's lots of lines out there, very geometric. And as we go around the league, it's different grounds crews do different things, and it's always, I find it interesting and pleasing to the eye.
I'm very impressed here. I mean, we've been to places this season, San Diego most recently, where they had trouble just keeping the grass alive.
I noticed that.
They had a Rolling Stones concert out there, and
the drought too, right? Well, or was that just strictly from the?
I think it was from the concert.
Really?
Ninth pitch to Ryan Goins, and he bounced it foul. So Goins making Harvey work awfully hard to the number 8 hitter starting this third inning. Pitcher Copeland on deck, and then Jose Reyes. Harvey's given up one hit, a double to Encarnacion leading off the second. 10th pitch of the at bat coming, and the changeup hit to the shortstop. Flores takes his time and throws out Goins by a stride, one away.
You know, one thing I've seen in today's game that really sticks out to me is that there's very few teams that don't run out ground balls to first base. Now, that is something that's been a major improvement from my generation. I mean, everybody, most everybody, the great majority, they really bust the first base.
Do you think that's more now than when you played?
I do. I do. There was always some guys that Cadillac. I wasn't going to beat anything out.
So when you hit a ground ball to second base, you have.
If I hit a ball hard, it didn't matter anywhere. I ran as hard. I'd watch the fielder throw it, and when he ball was out of his hand, and I saw enough of the direction the ball was going, if it was on target, I would drop it down to third. It's a long year. But these guys, they hustle.
Probably not a surprise to hear this is Scott Copeland's first professional at bat.
And it looks like it.
Yeah.
Looks like Al Friedman up there swinging the bat.
Yeah, but Al takes prettier pictures.
Yes, he does.
Let me correct myself. It's his second professional at bat. He had one in the minor leagues. And this is his first in the major leagues. And Harvey gets him looking. 99 on the black. Second strikeout for Matt. 2 out of the inning.
Knee high outside corner. Right to the glove. And he's stepping in the bucket, and Hart wasn't in it.
No. So 2 out now. Reyes looking for his first hit in this series. 0 for 5 last night. Popped to short his first time up tonight. Jose's been back about 4 weeks now from a cracked rib that kept him on the sidelines. Well, that was 2011 when Jose Reyes became the first and to date only Met ever to win a National League batting title. Won it with a bunt hit his first time up on the final day.
The bunt hit was fine. That's part of his game. I had no issue with it. I kind of wish he had stayed in the game and played the entire game.
Or at least gone to his position and been pulled out rather than just making a right turn and leaving the game.
I thought he should have played the game, but that's okay. Neither here nor there.
Torres squeezes the pop-up. Harvey's got a 1-2-3 inning after being given the lead. We go to the bottom of the third. Mets 2, Blue Jays nothing. Two 2-0 lead. Lagares bounced out to short his first time up. Lagares, Duda, and d'Arnaud for the Mets in the third against Scott Copeland, who gave up 2 runs and 4 hits in the last inning.
Sunglasses for Encarnacion?
Josh Donaldson is bringing sunglasses over to Encarnacion. You know, sometimes the sun sets in that left field corner and peeks through the stands, and Encarnacion might be having some trouble.
Low in the sky brings to mind Colorado, how bad that is.
Yeah, that's the worst. Sometimes the first baseman can't see it all early on a summer night. Lights have been turned on. Number by Lagares, and it's 1-1.
We're very litigious. Excuse me.
Lucas Duda on deck. So Jose Reyes batted that last half inning. It's been a rough return to New York so far for Jose. 0 for 7, a throwing error last night. But always special for Jose to return to New York. After all, he played here for 9 years and still has a home in the area.
Serious gold right there in that necklace.
Up the middle, and Lagares has a leadoff hit. So the Mets get it started again. And of course, for 8 years, Reyes and David Wright shared the left side of the infield. And Jose, after the game last night, was talking about his buddy David.
Funny thing is, yesterday, when I went in after the game, I opened my phone, the first text that I have from David Wright. He just told me, "Hey man, you're getting too old to continue to do all the handshake." Yeah, you know. So, and before that, we were talking like 2 weeks ago when he fly to San Diego, I think. You know, I wish all the best for him because, you know, we still keep in touch. You know, we got a very good relationship, and I hope all the best for David because the team need him on the field. He present.
Well, like everybody who's ever been around David, Jose wishes nothing but the best for David Wright. There they are celebrating in 2006 when the Mets won the National League East.
They were the face of the organization, those two, coming up. Two hottest prospects and most talented players to come by. Back to 2 players for an organization to bring up from the minor leagues together.
And, you know, when the team had the success it had in 2006 with Reyes and Wright as the young players in that very talented lineup, who would have ever thought that that would be the only time that they celebrated a postseason berth together?
Agreed. And of course, we won't talk about 07 and 08. Those were nightmarish finishes, those 2 years, but they were the best team, I felt, in the National League in 06. And the Cardinals just beat them in that championship series.
This is interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, Reyes has had the reputation as being the oft-injured player, and, well, since he's left, he's actually played more games than David has. Of course, David right now going through a very difficult time trying to rehab his back, and nobody has any idea if he'll come back. Sandy Alderson threw out a date of the All-Star break, but that's just speculation. That really has nothing to do with reality right now. It's just a matter of him going through the rehab and getting back. And meanwhile, Reyes playing out on his old field. Duda had a base hit to center field his first time up, and they have a full shift on against him with Lagares at first, and Copeland misses outside with a changeup, 2-2. Final game of the homestand. Mets are 4-3 on this homestand so far, which is awfully good when you consider they got no hit the first game of the homestand. And Harvey got beat up in the second game against the Giants, but they've played very well since. There goes Lagares. Duda lifts it to left. Colabello coming in under it. Lagares was around second. He has to retrace his steps. Colabello with a long throw back to first, but it's offline. And Lagares able to get back. I don't know if Juan got deked as he came around second base.
He got deked, and he was a straight steal, for he wasn't looking back behind him. And a perfect throw here. He might have been out. See, he's not looking. He looked too late. I don't think he was deked at all. I just think he did not know it was contact, and he has the presence of mind, of course, to touch second base on his return.
It was a good idea.
We've seen it not done before, Gary.
We certainly have. So 1 out and 1 on. Now Travis d'Arnaud, who tonight is getting the first chance to play against one of his old organizations. Unlike Noah Syndergaard, for d'Arnaud, he was Toronto was a pit stop for him. He was originally drafted by the Phillies, traded to Toronto in the Roy Halladay deal, and spent 3 years in the Blue Jays organization. For 2 of those years, he was hurt a substantial portion of the year. So there are a few people on the other side that Travis knows well. Ryan Goins, the second baseman for the Blue Jays, he played with in the minor leagues. And Drew Hutchison is going to pitch against the Mets tomorrow night, was actually Travis's roommate in A-ball in the Toronto organization. There's a strike, 1-2. So I don't think it's quite as emotional for Travis tonight as it was for Syndergaard last night to go up against the Blue Jays for the first time.
Pretty good trade, bringing Syndergaard and d'Arnaud for R.A. Dickey.
Snap throw. Martin throwing behind Lagares, but he gets back. d'Arnaud into a fielder's choice his first time up. This is his 5th game since coming back from the disabled list. He's gone 5 for 18 so far with 2 doubles and a home run. So he has certainly added spark since his return. There goes Lagares. That's pulled into left field. A base hit for d'Arnaud. Lagares going first to third. And the Mets have runners at the corners with one out.
And we'll do the pitch sequence. Curveball inside corner for a strike. Sinker misses. Fastball. And there's another breaking ball hanging. That was a quick pitch sequence right there. And Lagares, he made such a sharp, tight turn rounding second base. Really was a reason why he was standing up going into third.
It's fun to watch Lagares run. He doesn't have the sheer speed of a Reyes or a Mookie Wilson, but he's a very interesting runner to watch.
He's a galloper. Watch him make this turn. They say, oh, I've been a hit and run. He made a very tight turn.
It's built like a running back, you know?
I know he runs like it's too old for anybody to remember. But the great Chicago Bear had a great rookie year. Was killed in an automobile accident back in the early '60s. Willie Gallimore was a galloper like Lagares. And I know no one's going to remember Willie Gallimore, but I'm sticking with it.
We'll trust you on that. Flores drove a double to the gap in left center and scored a run his first time. And he checks his swing, takes a strike. Good looking fastball by Copeland that time, and it's 1-2.
Another RBI spot for Flores, who has been delivering.
16 RBIs in his last 20 games. Lagares at third, d'Arnaud at first, and one out.
A lot of
Siciliani on deck.
A lot of hitters in the on deck circle today do not, Gary, get down on one knee either. They're always standing up. That's a difference I've seen, a minor difference.
Hit to center field, tagging Lagares. Catch made by Carrera back on his heels, and Lagares scores easily. Sacrifice fly for Wilmer Flores, his 32nd run batted in, and it's 3-0 New York.
Wilmer is really staying in, keeping that shoulder in, become a much better breaking ball. Kind of like to see him take a bigger rip. He kind of slaps the ball a little bit to right field when he looks away, but he is just, I can just see his development here. And here we are, we just beginning the second half of June, and he's coming into his own.
Now Daryl Siciliani, who drove a single into left field his first time up. 7 hits in his last 15 at bats. This is the 7th game Siciliani has started since he was called up, and impressing more and more every day.
Well, when Terry made the call to Wally Backman was the one that said call up Siciliani. He can hit.
He's a guy who's been derailed by injuries over the course of his minor league career. Remember when he was first playing for Brooklyn? He and Corey Vaughn were the 2 stars on that Brooklyn team. And Vaughn was considered the better prospect, but Siciliani is the guy who has made it here. Curveball misses badly, 2-1 from Copeland. You just never know with guys at that low minor league level who's going to be able to make the adjustments on the way up and who's going to fall by the wayside. Line to the center, and Siciliani's got another hit. So Darryl is 2 for 2, and the Mets have 3 hits in the 3rd inning against Copeland.
Boy, Copeland's lucky he hasn't given up a Baker's dozen. He's just throwing balls down the pipe up. He cannot live at the belt. He's got to be down on the knees. Good swing. Let's see this man. A lot of Met players in the lineup today, Gary, with single-digit numbers. Siciliano 1, d'Arnaud 7, Herrera's 2, Flores is what? Flores is 4.
Granderson 3.
It's just a lot.
What does that tell you?
That means nothing, but that's unusual.
Well, to me, single-digit numbers usually mean players that an organization feels very good about. We usually give away those prime numbers to people who are just passing through. Of course, Darno wore 15 in the past, took 7 this year. Here's Tejada, who singled in a run his first time up. 2 out and 2 on. And the curveball bends in for a strike. Now, to me, a catcher should never wear a single number. You know why? Because when he's behind the plate, the strap of the chest protector goes right through the number, and you can't see it.
Okay.
That's why Benito Santiago, who had worn 9, switched to 09, so you could see his number.
Okay. You know, if you get David Wright back, he's number 5, and that'd be another single digit out there. I never liked the single digit numbers. I like to add them up.
Yeah, but if they had given you 7 when you got to the Cardinals, you would have taken it.
I would not have taken 7 because I was not worthy of Mickey Mantle, even though my idol. I was not worthy. That's why I was 37 and 17.
So you would have turned down 7.
Yes, when I came up, Reggie Smith was 7. There was no way I was getting 7.
2 to Tejada.
And of course, when I came over to the Mets, 37 is up there on the board in left field. Casey, the retired number. And I remember Charlie Samuels, the equipment manager, said, we can't give you that number. I said, fine. I never liked that number. Dizzy Dean was 17 with the Cardinals, and I was retired.
Well, 17's a good number.
Yes, it is. I was very happy with that number.
I know Dae-Sung Koo and Jose Lima and Luis Lopez always enjoyed it.
Charlie. I would kill him for that.
Nobody's wearing 17 now, are they?
I don't think so. Nope, we got Tom Seaver, Gil Hodges, and Casey up there.
Breaking ball just missed and a full count to Tejada. Speaking of Gil Hodges, by the way, last night Terry Collins got his 339th win as a Mets manager, which tied Gil Hodges for 3rd on the all-time Met manager list behind Davey Johnson and Bobby Valentine. So congratulations to Terry for that. 3-2 runners will be going, and Tejada pulls one foul. Now, you know, it pains you as a Mets fan and as a human being to think about Gil and how many more games he might have won.
Right.
Remember that Gil Hodges passed away on the eve of the 1972 season, 2 days before his 48th birthday. I mean, how tragic.
Heart attack, correct?
Yes. And it's more than 4 decades later, and you still wonder about what might have been. 8th pitch coming to Tejada, and he fouls back another one.
Now, was Yogi coach?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was the first base coach, and he took over as manager at the last moment in '72 and took the Mets to the World Series in '73. It was Bull Schultz up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays as Copeland tries to get through this 3rd inning.
There you go. They're with it.
Tejada with a check swing foul ball, and this battle continues. Ruben pulled one to the left to drive in a run in the 2nd inning. Mets now have 8 hits against Copeland. Copeland got the benefit of a double play ball in the 2nd to limit the damage to 2 runs. He's given up 1 in the 3rd on 3 hits and a sacrifice fly. Darno and Siciliani get set to run again on the 10th pitch of the at bat coming to Tejada. And Ruben goes down on the breaking ball to end the inning. First strikeout of the night for Scott Copeland, but the Mets add a run. Juan Lagares gets it started with a base hit. With a runner in motion, Darno gets Lagares to 3rd, and Wilmer Flores drives him in. 3-0 Mets after 3. his statue.
Very good likeness.
And image graces the first base gate here.
Perfect likeness.
Great player. World Series winning manager.
And you just talk to all the players in that '69 team, and you know he was special. They just revere him.
And they feared him too. They said he was one scary guy and you just didn't want to cross him.
He was a big guy.
Big guy, huge hands, a Marine, severe demeanor when he needed it. Didn't yell a lot, but every Met fan who was alive in 1969 will remember the day that he walked out to left field to take Cleon Jones out of the game after Cleon didn't go as hard as he should after a base hit. Donaldson lifts one to left. Siciliani edging over. One out. And all he needed to do was look at you, and you knew. That's what they all said. Here's Batista.
Curveball misses away. Slider misses away. 2-0. He goes after a bad sinker. Then a slider. Little cutter. Gets him out in front. Took a little off.
Well, I think we saw last night the damage that he can do when you come inside. So the question is, can you still pitch him inside, or do you have to work him exclusively away?
I think
that's way inside.
If you pitch him inside, you got to keep him honest. You don't throw it where he can get the barrel out. It's a show pitch, but he's evidently smart enough to know that he can. That they're going to throw a lot of breaking balls to him, and they do.
Pulls that one down to third. Nice big hop for Tejada, and there are 2 away. So Harvey's rolling tonight. He's retired 8 in a row since the double by Encarnacion, leading off in the second. And Encarnacion will bat here with 2 out and nobody on. The plus for Encarnacion in the second inning was that he doubled down the left field line. The big minus was on the ensuing at bat. He tried to go from second to third on a ground ball to the shortstop and was thrown out by 20 feet.
And this is a game where Harvey needs to help his bullpen, Gary. He needs to go deep in this game.
There's no question about that. The Mets certainly do not have Jeurys Familia tonight. They do not have Hansel Robles. Familia has had 2 4-out assignments in a row. Pitched 4 times in the last 5 days. Robles has worked 3 days in a row. And Terry said before the game that if he needs a closer tonight, it would probably be Carlos Torres. And that his ideal tonight would be for Harvey to go 8 and Torres pitch the 9th. We'll see if Matt can do that. Curveball pulled foul. Well, the most interesting number there, comparing his first 2 seasons to this year, is the fact that he's already given up as many home runs this year as he did all of 2012 and 13 combined. And against this powerful Toronto team, you certainly don't want to be making mistakes. They have 81 home runs this year, second in the American League. Chris Colabello would be next. Matt hasn't walked a batter. He struck out 2. And Encarnacion gives Tejada another chance. Scooped out by Duda. Side retired. 9 in a row retired by Matt Harvey. 3-0 Mets in the 4th. With a constant flow of Mets news and opinion, featuring game breakdowns, special features, and player profiles. Mets blog presented by Citi, part of the SNY.TV blog network. Dilson Herrera leads off in the home fourth inning, grounded into a double play his first time up. Herrera, Harvey, and Granderson to face Scott Copeland in the fourth. Copeland's given up 3 runs and 8 hits over the first 3 innings.
Hit a home run in that Atlanta series. In that comeback game. He's got pop. I like his swing.
Needs to right now just needs to hit line drives. Focus on hitting the top half of that baseball.
The expectation is that Daniel Murphy will be able to come off the disabled list when he's eligible on Saturday in Atlanta. Reyes on the back end throws out Herrera. And there's every reason to think at this point that when Murphy comes back, he'll come back as a third baseman and Herrera won't move an inch.
And it's Murph's best position too.
I miss dreadlocked Jose Reyes.
You do?
I do.
What, do you miss the dreadlocks or you miss Jose?
I miss, well, it would be great to still have Jose here because he was wonderful to be around.
That was a beautiful sunset.
It really was. And Bill Webb wanted us to make sure to make note of that. But I like the style. I think that it added to his persona, his playful, fun-loving persona with the dances and the handshakes. He looks so much more serious now with the short hair and the beard.
Like a elder statesman,
like a professorial type. Well, he is 32 now. It's hard to think of him as anything but young, but what, 12 years in the big leagues. Harvey bounces one foul. Matt hit a long double to center field to drive in a run in the second inning. His first extra base hit and first run batted end of the season. Well, the back half of this 4-game home-and-home series starts tomorrow night at Rogers Center in Toronto. The City probables Jonathan Neese against Drew Hutchison tomorrow night. Bartolo Colon and R.A. Dickey in the 40-plus matchup on Thursday as Harvey rolls out for the second out. I think it's been about 7 or 8 years since there have been 2 40-plus starters go head-to-head. I think back in the Jamie Moyer days since that happened. We'll have to get a definitive call on that from our mystery stat guy. We already got it. 2008. Greg Maddux, Jamie Moyer.
There's R.A.
Thursday night, Colon and Dickey. I mean, think about, from a Mets standpoint exclusively, how much the Mets have gotten out of those 2 guys after, well, in Dickey's case, everybody had given up on him. And in Bartolo's case, nobody knew how much he might have left after his great year in Oakland 2 years ago.
Well, he had 15 games in him last year for a team under 500. And he's wailing, having a terrific year this year.
Encarnacion with a nice stop. The 3-1 putout gives Copeland his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. We played 4 at Citi Field. Mets up 3-0.
Brought to you by Horizon. Gare, who was the last Met to start more games at third base in a single season than David Wright.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Who was the last Met to start more games at third base in a single season more than David Wright? That is you're right.
In other words,
that's you're right. That
when's
can be
the last season where somebody started more games than David?
Yes. You're right. That was not that was a little confusing. It was confusing. We're going to have to check.
See if they can reword that so it makes a little more sense. Here's Chris Colabello leading off in the 5th inning. I don't want to start with an ill-informed premise.
I think it's going to be who started the most games at third base. No. Before David Wright. That's a toughie.
I don't know what the question means. That's hit slowly by Colabello. A tough play for Tejada and no way to throw him out. Colabello with a swinging bunt for the Blue Jays' second hit of the night.
Well, Tejada was playing back and nothing you can do about this. It's a bleeder. I always like the camera angle right here where you can see the hand, because that's really an art right there, the third baseman, when they got a bare hand that ball coming in.
What's the key to that? Is that getting your entire hand open and under it somehow?
Well, your hand's got to be open, and hopefully you get it in your fingertips. But there is an art to, if you get it in the palm of your hand, how do you shift it to your fingertips? It could be done.
Russell Martin with a runner at first. And he takes a strike. Slider from Harvey.
Are we having a hard time with the question, guys, in the truck?
Have you seen anybody on that bare hand play try and catch it not with their whole hand, but try and catch it with just the two fingers that you want to throw with?
You ideally would like that. Look how you see where Tejada readjusted the ball in his hand. You can't play it on your fingertips. You got to make sure you get the ball.
Because if you try and throw it with your whole hand, you're going to throw a changeup. Right?
See, Ruben's got it right there. He's able to shift it in his hands. Actually, he's throwing a four-seamer. Good for him.
Martin struck out his first time up, one of only 2 strikeouts for Harvey so far tonight, and a little issue with Colabello. I think he has something in his eye, so he called time.
Yep.
Struck Martin out with his last time up.
Okay. In the year prior,
before David Wright. So this a career question? Who started the most games in the? So in 2003, which was the year prior to David Wright's arrival, was Ty Wigginton, right?
You got me.
1-2 to Martin. Well, that's my guess. I can't imagine who else it would be.
I think you're right. It's still a confusing question, isn't it? Yep, and you're right.
Okay. All right.
Well, that was an ordeal.
So the question took a lot longer than the answer. So I am not stumped. Thank you.
You're good.
Occasionally. 1-2 coming, and it's off the corner. 2-2. Now you know that there's a more official forum for that coming up later this month on SNY. The game show that Howie and I
that's right.
competed against some fans. 2 episodes, 2 different teams of fans. That'll be worth watching. Swing and a miss. And Harvey strikes out Martin for the second time. Got him this time with a changeup.
Now, I never say this. That's a changeup sinking. That's fairly unhittable. That's a pitch. For a left-hand hitter, it's hittable because it's sinking away from you if you stay back. But a right-hand hitter, where it sinks under your bat, it's fairly close. I don't like the word unhittable, but that's as close as it gets to unhittable.
Here's Ezekiel Carrera, who grounded out to Herrera his first time up. Seems to me, Keith, that back when you were playing, there's one up the middle just past Flores and into center field, so Carrera has a base hit, and the Jays have 2 men on for the first time tonight.
First pitch, fastball hitting right up the middle. Just doesn't get there, Wilmer.
So the number 8 hitter Ryan Goins bats with 2 men on, grounded out to short his first time up. I was going to say, going back to that changeup that Harvey threw to Martin, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when you played, you didn't see as many changeups thrown to same side hitters. In other words, right-handers didn't throw changeups to right-hand hitters. Lefties didn't throw changeups to left-hand hitters.
Agreed, 100%. That would have been. That to me is the big difference in the game. But then again, there's no split fingers today. And split finger was a very, very wicked pitch. But you are correct. The only left-hander that I can recall that threw change-ups was that Cardinal left-hander. Matthews, what was his first name? Greg Matthews. And I remember I waited nice on a tight change-up and I jammed myself.
Justin Smoke out on deck to bat for Copeland.
And I jammed myself. I waited too long, so I said, I'm going to have to make an adjustment here.
Bo Schultz up in the bullpen.
But everybody's coming up with an off-speed pitch today. They're teaching them down the minor leagues. I mean, it used to be where guys came up, they threw hard, they had hard-breaking stuff, a lot of them, and didn't have a change-up. But the changeup now, the off-speed pitch is very, very prevalent in the game.
Well, it puts less stress on your arm, I would think, than a slider or a curveball, right? And that part of the notion. Harvey gets ahead on Goins 1 and 2.
I didn't mind. I was a good off-speed hitter. So I remember John Denny threw a palm ball. Right. And when he threw the palm ball, he had his fingers up in the air. I could see his 4 fingers coming out when at the point of release, so I knew every time the palm ball was coming.
You're a sly one. 1-2 off the plate with a fastball. 2 and 2 to go.
But the split finger in the Giants rotation pitching staff with under Roger Craig, but Kelly Downs and Scott Garrelts, they all threw. The only one that didn't throw the splitter was Kruka.
He beat the Mets every time he threw his glove out there. Goins chases. Another changeup for a strikeout for Harvey, and there are 2 out of the inning. 4th strikeout of the night for Matt.
Good movement.
Goins has struck out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Matt, and now Justin Smoke will be the pinch hitter. Smoke appeared last night as a pinch hitter and walked in the 8th inning. Switch hitter will bat left-handed against Harvey. And Dan Worthen, I don't know, checking on Harvey or just bringing a scouting report out with him with the pinch hitter coming up. So John Gibbons gets only 4 innings out of his spot starter tonight, and he'll have to use plenty of bullpen in an effort to come back in this game. Copeland went 4 innings, allowed 3 runs and 8 hits. Didn't walk a batter and struck out 1. So 2 on and 2 out for Smoke. He's got a lot of power. Tying run at the plate in the 3-0 game. Former Seattle Mariner with Colabello at second and Carrera at first and 2 out. Badly fooled by the curveball. 0-1.
Harvey is starting to get his rhythm.
Your People's United Bank starters. Copeland out after 4 innings. Harvey just getting rolling. No walks. He's only walked 14 batters in 84 innings.
He's throwing effortlessly, very, very fluid motion.
Check swing tapper, tough play with the shift on. It's going to be Tejada with a good throw to get him. Ruben Tejada aired it out to get Smoke. He had to go a long way to get this ball. Flores was playing up the middle, so it was all on Tejada, and he played that perfectly. Halfway through, 3-0 Mets. Orlando Resort, where you'll experience the action and fun of 2 amazing theme parks. Plus, stay on site at Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Just go to sny.tv/Toyota and enter the Toyota Fan Flyway Sweepstakes for your chance to win. Your Verizon 5th inning recap. Mets got a couple of runs in the second and 1 in the third against Scott Copeland, who's out after 4 innings. And now Bo Schultz, 29-year-old who pitched for the Diamondbacks last year, comes in.
Well, they've been kind of moving around this bullpen. They say the bullpen's gotten better. It's a weakness of this ball club. And they're basically going to have to hit. And they're in a tough division with the Yanks, and the Baltimore Orioles are tough, and Tampa Bay really playing over it, about surprising everybody.
The Rays have been pitching well just about every day, and they've vaulted into first place in that AL East, winning 12 of their last 16. They're trailing the Nats tonight after they beat Washington last night behind Erasmo Ramirez. Schultz has bounced around through the A's organization, made his big league debut with the Diamondbacks, and now with Toronto at age 29. It's a hard thrower. And bounces a slider. 2-2 to Lagares with Duda and d'Arnaud to follow. So the team bringing up the back of the pack for the American League East is the Red Sox.
They're not pitching at all.
They snapped a 7-game losing streak today by beating the Braves 9-4. And of note in that game is that Brock Holt for the Red Sox hit for the cycle against the Braves. The last man before Brock Holt hit for the cycle against the Braves, 1985, 19-inning game.
Me.
You. That's exactly right. 30 years later, Brock Holt.
30 years.
30 years later, Brock Holt joins you in having hit for the cycle against the Braves. And it only took him 9 innings.
Well, let me tell you something. My first at bat or second at bat, Terry Tata was the home plate umpire, second base umpire, and I hit a soft liner to center. Dale Murphy dove for it. He didn't catch it, and he called me out.
Lagares has his second hit of the night, again leading off the inning. Boy, is he hot with the bat.
He's just swinging great. He's going up the middle.
Lagares has hit in 7 straight games, and now Lucas Duda, who has multiple hits in 3 straight and 1 hit so far tonight. Single to center his first time up. So you were saying about Terry Tata?
He called me out in the soft liner, and he didn't catch it. And we
Who was the outfielder? Do you remember?
Dale Murphy was in center field.
Well, Murph's a nice guy. He should have gotten the benefit of the doubt.
With the Gold Glover, he got the benefit of the doubt.
Duda lifts one out to right. Didn't get much of it. And Batista is there to grab it. 1 out. Did you ever get the benefit of the doubt as a Gold Glover on a play where you might not have made a play, but you got the call because of your reputation?
No, it's different when you're an infielder than an outfielder. There's no more chances for diving plays.
Maybe cheating off first base.
Oh, sure. I was taught by Ron Fairley how to cheat at first base.
Cheat nicely.
Yeah, yes, and it was something you wouldn't be able to do today, right?
Well, not with replay, no. I mean, there's a lot of things that you get caught for now that you might not have gotten caught for before, like, say, hacking into another team's database.
Oh, how about that?
Your old Cardinals had their reputation besmirched a little bit by the news today that the FBI is investigating that some Cardinal front office employees might have hacked into the Astros database and got information they did not own.
There isn't a whole lot of back and forth. There's a lot of leaking to the press.
Goins makes the grab too
on this story, and a lot of bad blood between the ill feelings. Talking about Mark Lunau when he left. Jeff Lunau, excuse me, went over as general manager. He based of the Astros now, and they've turned it around. He basically ran the farm system for the Cardinals and was a big part of the Cardinals' consistency with their great teams. So there's just all kinds of stuff flying around that certain employees came over with them to the Astros. They didn't change their passwords.
Well, there's the question about intellectual property, right? Anything that is on paper or on a computer that is generated as a member of the Cardinals, you can't necessarily take with you to the other club. But if it's in your brain, of course you can take it with you. And that's part of the question. But at the end of the day, if you hack into somebody's computer, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. And it's a very interesting test for the new commissioner, Rob Manfred. If all these charges are proven that Cardinals employees did do this, how do you penalize them?
Well, and right now everybody's just saying it's in the FBI's hands, so they're kind of keeping mum.
Right.
And as they should. And when it all comes out in the wash, what you do is right. I mean, you take away a #1 pick.
There goes Lagares. The throw by Martin, and Lagares is safe. He's been doing some more running the last few days. 5th stolen base of the year for Juan.
Just too good a jump. Not a bad throw by Martin. But you know, you look at what happened with the Patriots, right, with the what do you call it, Deflategate, I guess, and they were fined severely monetarily. You know, you can fine the Cardinals. And you know, this wasn't the first time for the Patriots. They had the Spygate, of course.
Right, which probably is a better parallel because it's stealing information, which is what happened here. Of course, we're in a brave new world now with electronic information, and you know, the monetary fines are one thing, but competitive fines are probably something that's more applicable, whether that's draft picks or something else. I don't know what the something else would be. You're not going to. I don't think you would go so far as to ban the Cardinals from postseason play or anything like that. But you know, if you took away
draft
2 or 3 draft picks,
that would severely hurt them, or more than a few years of a #1 pick, have that defaulted from them. That would be severe. It's interesting. I heard someone say, you know, it used to be they used to steal signs in baseball. Now they're stealing. They're stealing and they're hacking computers.
Well, I read somebody else say that hacking is not really the Cardinal way. They're usually a more patient team.
All the stuff is starting to go around now.
So we'll see how that plays out. 3-2 to Flores with a runner in scoring position and 2 out. And he goes down swinging. So Bull Schultz with a cutter strikes out Flores and works around the leadoff hit. After 5, Matt Harvey working on a shutout, up 3-0. Toronto on Loudmouths tomorrow at 5:30, only on SNY. They'll be speaking at considerably higher volume than that.
Yes.
Third time around the batting order for Matt Harvey as we go to the 6th inning. Jose Reyes twice has popped to short, and he bluffs a bunt and takes a strike. Reyes 0 for 7 in this series. Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista to follow. Harvey has limited the Jays to 3 hits over the first 5 innings. No walks, 4 strikeouts. A nice bounce back so far for Matt. And Reyes fouls off the curveball, and it's 0-2. Matt's ERA the last 4 starts an unsightly 7.20. And it'll be interesting to hear from him after the game about what his focus was getting ready for this start.
What he worked on in between starts. Yes.
We've certainly seen him use his changeup very effectively tonight, particularly against the left-hand hitters, but even against the righties. And Reyes pops one up. And Tejada with a chance. In fair territory, 1 out. Check in with the studio. Doug Williams has a game break brought to you by Honda. '96 is not as far back as 1985.
Right.
So you trumped the Red Sox in terms of history.
Yes, I did.
Another winning hand. Josh Donaldson is 0 for 2. So Donaldson is 0 for 7 in this series. Reyes is 0 for 8 in this series. And if you want a reason why the Mets are holding the Jays down, you might start right there. The top 2 guys in the batting order 0 for 15. Tomorrow night the series shifts to Toronto for game 3 of this home-and-home series. Jonathan Neese against Drew Hutchison tomorrow night at Rogers Center in Toronto. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow right here on SNY.
Toronto 20-12 at home.
Another weak ground ball. Herrera handles that, and Donaldson retired, 2 out.
It's just amazing. You got a red hot team coming in offensively, averaging 8 runs per game during an 11-game streak, and it's amazing that good pitching will neutralize good hitting.
Well, here's Jose Bautista, who hit the 2 solo home runs last night, and if the Mets can continue to face him with the bases empty, they'll be thrilled. And that's been the case every one of his at-bats in this series so far. There are Jose Bautista's home runs by year. He had that big breakout season in 2010. Hasn't reached 54 again, but he's done awfully well. 35 last year. Presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. Tonight, Bautista has grounded out twice. Edwin Encarnacion would be next. Harvey about to throw his 90th pitch of the night with 2 out of the 6th. And although it was Terry Collins' hope that Matt could go 8 tonight, right now if he could go 7, that would be fantastic.
I agree. The Mets on a roll here.
This is a game though where you can't feel very comfortable if you're the Mets, even though Matt is pitching very well, because you know that you're going to need significant bullpen. You don't have Familia, you don't have Robles, and this Jays team is so powerful.
Well, the Blue Jays are a team that can bunch runs together in innings. They have a team of big innings.
3-2 coming to Bautista. Lifted to right center. Hit pretty well. Back goes Lagares near the wall. Can't make the catch. Finds it at the base of the wall, and Bautista turns second. He's going to try for third. The relay by Herrera is not in time. Jose Bautista with his second triple of the year. Well, we've said this a couple of times. Lagares is great, but he's not quite getting to some balls that we've seen him get to in the past.
Well, it's a tough chance right here. Just he didn't let up on it. He's near the wall and just out of his reach.
Last year, every ball that he reached for like that, it seemed he caught. And this year, there have been some that have just eluded him. Now, a runner at third and 2 out for Edwin Encarnacion.
I didn't know if you noticed, Siciliani came in all the way from left field because Harvey was late backing up third. And he was right there at that third base position to back up. Harvey got there and he pulled up, but he would have been there if Harvey didn't back up. I like that.
Just another hustle play from Siciliani. Seen a lot of that. Changeup misses to Encarnacion, 1-1. So Harvey's given up his 4th hit of the night. Encarnacion had the first one, a double to left field in the second. A couple of singles against Matt in the 5th. He was able to work around that against the bottom of the order. Now a 2-out triple to Bautista here in the 6th. And a roller to the left side, oddly hit, and Tejada's there to field it and throws out Encarnacion to end the inning. Very strange swing by Encarnacion. Harvey has 6 scoreless innings and a 3-0 lead in the 6th. Marlin will check out minicamp, and there's more hacking. Now Steve Gelbs is the victim.
Chris is a
churro dogs, huh?
Chris is a little cuckoo box.
Harold Siciliani leads off in the home 6th and takes a strike from Bo Schultz, who starts his 2nd inning of relief. Siciliani 2 for 2, single to left, single to center. Up to an even 300 on the year through his first 40 major league at bats. Oops, one foul, and it's 0-2. Siciliani, Tejada, and Herrera. If anybody gets on Matt Harvey, and there's no hint of action in the Mets bullpen. Harvey's at 96 pitches through 6 innings. And there might have been a time earlier this year when they would consider pulling Matt in this spot. Not tonight, not with the state of the Mets bullpen coming into this game. They've got to get Harvey through 7. 1-2 to Siciliani. No Jerry's Familia, who's worked 4 of the last 5 days and 4 outs each of the last 2 days. No Hansel Robles, who's worked 3 days in a row and 2 innings yesterday.
Alex Torres has been worked a lot. He got a day off yesterday, but he's been worked a lot in this homestand. And they don't get their off day until Monday. So
the 3 lefties are all available in the bullpen tonight, including Sean Gilmartin, who went 2 innings to get his first big league win night before last.
Matt clean shaven tonight in his start.
It's like when he started his career. Reyes on the check swing roller throws out Siciliani 1 away. By the way, a note on Gilmartin and Robles. The last two nights, Sean Gilmartin got his first big league win on Sunday. Hansel Robles got his first big league win yesterday. The last time the Mets had two players get their first major league win in back-to-back games, 1979, Jesse Orosco and Mike Scott.
Oh, okay.
And the other piece of that note is it's the only time in Major League history that two pitchers on the same team have gotten their first Major League win back-to-back games and both gone on to win at least 75 Major League games. So that was quite a pair back then. Of course, a lot of people don't remember that Mike Scott began with the Mets, and he didn't have a lot of success as a Met.
He was a hard thrower, did not have the split finger, Gare. It was had an average, mediocre curveball, but he always threw bullets.
But he got hit pretty hard.
Oh,
my recollection as a Met.
Yep.
Of course, he hadn't learned how to alter the baseball either.
He did not have the chicken scratches on the ball back then.
Tejada 1 for 2, singled in a run in the second inning, then struck out in the third. And Schultz with the 0-2. This is with the cutter, and it's 1-2. The Toronto starter Scott Copeland went 4 innings, allowed 3 runs, 8 hits, no walks, 1 strikeout in his second major league start. Meanwhile, Washington blowing out Tampa Bay tonight. Bryce Harper hit another one out of sight, his 22nd. He's having quite a year. Out to center field, Carrera with plenty of room. And it is not Tejada's territory. 2 out. So now Dilson Herrera will bat with 2 out and nobody on. Dilson grounded into a double play in the second, bounced out to short in the fourth. That scored 2 in the second. Tejada and Harvey with the RBIs, added 1 in the third, a sac fly by Wilmer Flores, and Matt Harvey has done the rest. Sticks out the glove and finds that pearl. Side retired. A bullet off the bat of Herrera, and Donaldson equal to that. 1-2-3 inning for Schultz. Still 3-0 Mets. 96 pitches, will face 5, 6, and 7 in the Toronto batting order. Colabello, Martin, and Carrera in the top of the 7th. Chris Colabello had a swinging bunt that rolled up the third base line for an infield hit in the 5th. One of 4 hits Matt's given up tonight. And a strike on the outside. Well, Harvey's only struck out 4 tonight. Look at the Blue Jays offensive numbers in this series. They have been held greatly in check compared to what they've done this season. 359 runs this year, put them 66 runs ahead of everybody else going into the ninth. So Matt's only struck out 4, but he's already had 12 swings and misses in this game, which is 50% more than he had in his last start against the Giants. Alex Torres, first man up in the Mets bullpen.
He's throwing effortlessly, and the thing is, he started out early in the game, Gary, throwing a lot of breaking balls and changeups, but now he's kind of gone to that fastball. And what I like about the fastball is number 1 there, nice pitch. His fastball away to the right-hand hitters has been in the knees, as there, and then he goes inside, up and in. So he's been very, very good with that.
That's his 5th strikeout of the night as it gets Colabello looking. Ryan Tepera is up in the bullpen for Toronto, rookie right-hander. Here's Russell Martin, who's been up twice, struck out both times, once on a fastball, once on a changeup from Harvey tonight. 100th pitch of the night is a curveball that misses outside. Matt's thrown as many as 107 pitches this year. He's thrown as many as 121 in his career. We'll get to that tonight. At least it's certainly unlikely as they continue to be careful in his first year back from Tommy John surgery.
And he's really painting that outside corner, Garrett.
And Martin takes the slider for a strike, and it's 1-2.
And this is a game, I know Matt's off on a pitch count, and this is a game where he's getting stronger. You know, 30, 20 years ago, he'd be going 9.
Struck him out. Third time he's got Russell Martin, went upstairs with the fastball. So back-to-back strikeouts for Harvey to start the 7th.
Upstairs, he's got the upstairs fastball, and then painting away the knees, and then upstairs with the cheddar out of the strike zone.
So now 6 strikeouts for Harvey, 2 down in the 7th, and here's Ezekiel Carrera. Carrera had a base hit up the middle his last time up, 1 for 2 on the night. Former Met farmhand. Tejada comes in on the grass at third against Carrera's speed. Good changeup by Harvey, 1-1. He's had that pitch all night, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, and it's the pitch he's used effectively against the left-handers, not so much the right-handers. He sprinkled it in against the right-handers.
You know, it's really been his 4th pitch this year. He's only thrown it 11% of the time, but I think when we look at the numbers at the end of this night, he will have thrown it a lot more than that. Center field, Lagares easing back. Side retired. 7 scoreless innings for Matt Harvey. Tremendous bounce back for the Mets ace. His night probably done. Mets will try and get him some more runs in the bottom of the 7th. Well, you can cast up to 35 ballots on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Mets.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Kevin Pillar will come into play center field in a double switch. He'll bat ninth. And the new pitcher, rookie right-hander Ryan Tepera.
Yet another rookie made his debut in Toronto against Boston on May 10th. He has been deadly against the right-hand hitters. I think he's been doing pretty doggone good for his first 10 and third in the big leagues. Look at that.
Out of Sam Houston University and Lake Jackson, Texas, John Mayberry will pinch hit for Matt Harvey, leading off in the home seventh. So a real reversal back to form for Matt Harvey tonight. He came off the worst start of his career against the Giants his last time out, and against the best offense in baseball, turned in 7 scoreless innings tonight. Carlos Torres up in the Mets bullpen, and Torres may be asked to work the final 2 innings of this game. Ball and a strike to Mayberry. Cutter from Tepera, and it's 1-2. Trend line has been up for John Mayberry. Got the start in right field last night. 0 for 3, but he's been swinging the bat much better over the last 3 weeks.
Getting a little more playing time of late.
Lays off the slider, and it's 2-2. Good relief outing for Bo Schultz for Toronto. 2 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Retired his last 6 batters. Now Tepera with the 2-2, and Mayberry swings and misses at the cutter for strike 3.
Good spot for the cutter. Mayberry just pulls off.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Curtis Granderson has gone 0 for 3 tonight. Matt Harvey turning in 7 scoreless innings, allowing just 4 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Mets could not have asked for more tonight, as Granderson just skipped out of the way of that ball. Just for reference, you know, the Jays are such an offensive powerhouse. They've only been shut out once this season. It was by Jordan Zimmerman and the Nats on June 2nd. And Harvey has shut him out for 7 tonight. Encarnacion almost went the wrong way. He's challenged as far as directions are concerned.
And watch his break. No, you're right. There you go.
I mean, he had that base running gaff back in the 2nd inning. He's a guy better suited to be a DH. I think that's the best way to put it. Tremendous home run hitter. So 2 out and nobody on, and now Juan Lagares, who's 2 for 3 tonight. Twice a single to center. He's stolen a base. He's scored a run. That's hit hard, and Goins with a nice backhand stop to throw him out.
What a play.
Well, Lagares that close to a 3rd hit, but Goins with a nice play.
Good hands.
So helped by that, Tepera gets the Mets 1-2-3. Now it's on to the Mets bullpen as we head to the 8th. Harvey's done his job. 6 outs to get. 3-0 New York. outs without Jerry's Familia. Carlos Torres may be asked to get all 6. Let's see how that works out.
Well, it's a predominantly right-hand hitting lineup, Gare. So Torres, the veteran who likes to work, someone you can lean on in that bullpen.
Start off with the left-hand hitting Ryan Goins, the number 8 hitter. Then Kevin Pillar, who's hitting in the 9 spot. And then Jose Reyes due up in the 8th. Goins 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out against Harvey. And a first pitch curveball from Torres. Rarely see that for strike 1.
And a good one.
Carlos this year has thrown his cutter 54% of the time, the highest of his career. And another curveball, and it's 1-1. Torres worked a 1-2-3 inning last night behind Noah Syndergaard. There's Pillar on deck getting ready for his first at bat. Ryan Goins filling in at second base for the injured Devin Travis, who was the American League Player of the Month in April. Travis they hope to have back next week. Now Torres behind Goins, 3-1. Harvey didn't walk a batter all night. Lodges 4 hits, struck out 6 over 7 innings. And Torres promptly walks the leadoff hitter in the 8th inning. Not the way he wanted to start. We'll check in with the studio. Doug Williams has another game break brought to you by Ford.
Boy, what a year he's having.
You have to decide right now, Bryce Harper, Paul Goldschmidt, who has had the more MVP worthy season.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard question.
You know, Arizona's 1 game under 500.
Well, the Nats are only 2 games over.
The Nats off to that horrible start, and Harper basically carried that team. I'd have to lean. I think the better year is Goldschmidt, but I'd have to lean MVP voting to Harper.
Yeah, and Arizona has a better offensive team right now. I mean, you know, you look at the Nats, they played without Rendon early, without Worth for most of the season, without Zimmerman again now. Here's Kevin Pillar up for the first time. And Torres really struggling with his control. Ball 1.
5 straight balls after throwing a first pitch curveball for a strike.
Pillar started in center field last night, went 0 for 5.
There you go.
And there's a cutter for a strike. 1-1. Jose Reyes still looking for his first hit in this series, waiting on deck. Josh Donaldson behind him looking for his first hit. That's flared into right, coming on Granderson, but it'll drop for a base hit. And just like that, the Blue Jays will get the tying run to the plate in the 8th inning. A walk and a soft single by Pillar.
Cutter, flat, and too much plate. And when you're down 3 runs, you don't think about taking a chance. I can go to first and third. I got to play it safe. And Goins does the right thing.
So now Reyes at the top of the batting order with a chance to do some damage as Bobby Parnell gets up in the Mets bullpen. Just 2 appearances removed from Tommy John surgery. He may be asked to pitch in a very high leverage spot. Reyes 3 times up tonight against Harvey. He popped up to the infield all 3. He's 0 for 8 in this series. Goins at second, Pillar at first, and nobody out. And Reyes lifts one foul.
Jose is having problems right now with that outside corner pitch. You can see he's a little. It's the same thing. You got to keep the ball away from him right now. Just not reaching it towards the end of the bat.
Bounced down toward first, a foul ball. 0-2. Well, you got the home run bats behind Reyes. Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion. We talked about it earlier in this game. This is a hard game to win, even with Harvey pitching as well as he did, with no Familia available and all the firepower in that Toronto batting order. And it'll be coming up next. 0-2 to Reyes. Hit hard, base hit. Goins to third. He'll be held up there. And the bases loaded, but now they run Pilar toward third, and Duda's going to come over and put a tag on him for the first down.
Unbelievable.
A second huge base running gaffe by the Blue Jays tonight. The third base coach, Luis Rivera, was holding Goins all the way, not taking any chances with the big bats coming up, but Pilar never realized it.
It's a late hold, but you cannot overrun. You're down 3 runs. Oh my goodness.
Pilar had nowhere to go except to crawl into a hole.
And then he didn't even try to get into a rundown, and it's in the hopes of the back runner Reyes going to second base.
So it's a 9-3 putout, and that really helps Carlos Torres. Instead of bases loaded, nobody out, it's first and third, 1 out for Donaldson, who is 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 8 in the series. Big power hitter, tying run at the plate, and it takes the fastball high.
Well, here's a view right here. Watch the third base coach. It's a late hold, but watch. Goins not looking at the. Didn't even look. Pilar, excuse me. He wasn't even looking. He just assumed.
He had his head down the entire time.
Oh, that's a rock.
Now Torres behind Donaldson 2-0. So Carlos is not making anything easy on himself, even with that gift. Goins at third, Reyes at first, and 1 out. Donaldson 17 home runs, 45 driven in. Check on Reyes, who has 9 steals this year, but has not shown any signs of running after he got on base in the 8th inning last night.
Wow, what a break. How can you not look at the front runner?
2-0 to Donaldson, and the breaking ball outside, and now it's 3-0.
Tell you what, Terry's going to go to the bullpen if he loses this guy.
Torres may give this gift right back, and if he walks Donaldson, then the bases would be loaded for Bautista. You talked how had to face Bautista with the bases empty every at bat. It's not going to be the case this time. Donaldson takes a strike, 3-1. Inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
That's going to be it.
4 batters for Torres. He didn't retire any of them. He got a gift for an out on a base running blunder. 2 hits, 2 walks, and now he'll exit. And Bobby Parnell, in just his 3rd appearance coming back from Tommy John surgery, is going to be asked to bail the Mets out, facing Jose Bautista with the bases loaded in a 3-0 game in the 8th. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. This is a big outing coming up for Bobby Parnell. third appearance and none bigger since his return.
Well, geez, he's got the big bats up. Bautista, Encarnacion, 1 out. Sacks are loaded.
Bobby pitched Sunday against the Braves. He issued a leadoff walk to Kelly Johnson, but got through the inning on a double play ball. So here is Bautista, who had a long triple beyond Lagares' reach his last time up. Owens at third, Reyes at second, Donaldson at first.
Keep the ball away from this guy.
Well, Bobby got a double play ball on Sunday from Christian Bethancourt. He would love to try and do the same here against Bautista. Bases loaded, 1 out. And a fastball knee high for a strike. 91, 92, occasionally 93. That's what you're getting right now from Parnell. Not the 98 to 100 you saw in the past. Bautista 2 home runs last night, a triple tonight. He has 4 grand slams in his career. Tying runs on base in a 3-0 game. Ball and a strike. 20-year-old Roberto Osuna up in the Toronto bullpen. Edwin Encarnacion on deck. One to Bautista, and he popped it up. Granderson coming in to make the call. Goins tagging at third. He's going to try to score. Granderson's throw is cut off. So the Blue Jays get their first run, but a big sigh of relief for Parnell on the Mets. A sacrifice fly for Bautista makes it 3-1 New York.
That's a nice trade-off.
So now 2 out of the inning.
I'm curious to see what the back runner does here. That is Reyes. You know that Granderson doesn't have the arm.
But he hit the cutoff man.
He hit the cutoff man. Let's see what Jose's got. Lollygagging around. He's not even tagging up. He's got a tag. Can't just assume he could overthrow the cutoff man.
So the tying runs remain on base for Encarnacion. First and second and 2 out. Encarnacion 1 for 3 tonight. Huge base running gaff by Kevin Pillar, costing the Blue Jays here in the 8th. Encarnacion had a gaff on the bases in the second inning. Tried to advance from second to third on a ground ball in front of him and was thrown out easily. Blue Jays have now scored 4 runs in 19 innings in this series. A team that's averaging 5.5 runs per game this season. A wild swing of the curveball from Parnell, 1-1.
Encarnacion is an all or nothing hitter. He's a bad, well, he can swing at a lot of bad pitches. You don't have to necessarily throw him to strike.
Parnell has faced him before. Encarnacion 0 for 4 against Bobby. Reyes at second, Donaldson at first, and 2 out. And Encarnacion drives one to left. That's down for a base hit. Reyes will score. Stopping at second is Donaldson. Edwin Encarnacion with an RBI single to cut the Met lead to 3-2.
Well, 2 very similar hitters back to back in Bautista and Encarnacion. Both deadly on middle in pitches. And this ball's in, meant to be away. He rips it more down the middle. Mistake. With Reyes' wheels, he hasn't even got it in 5th gear. He just, Donaldson on the back end cannot advance.
So Matt Harvey handed the bullpen a 3-0 lead here in the 8th. 2/3 of that lead is gone. Now the tying run at second with Chris Colabello at the plate. He's 1 for 3 tonight, an infield hit in the 5th. And Colabello swings over the curveball, 0-1. Colabello 3 for 8 in this series. He's had a great year.
And remember, Familia will not be available tonight in this one-run ball game.
I don't know how the Mets are going to patch the ninth inning together, even if they get the lead to the ninth. Tying and lead runs are on base with 2 out. And another breaking ball from Parnell to get ahead 0-2.
2 good breaking balls from Bobby.
Donaldson at second. Encarnacion at first. Neither one particularly fleet. To Colabello. And a nice backhand stop by d'Arnaud. 1-2. Russell Martin would be next. Parnell, who made 1 big league appearance in a 22.5-month span. Opening day last year before he blew out his elbow. And now in his 3rd appearance back, trying to get a king-sized out in the 8th inning. Another block by d'Arnaud. 2-2.
Even though Colabello is hitting .345 coming into this ball game, right now .344. The guy in the on-deck circle I want no part of. That's Russell Martin, one of the big clutch hitters in the game today. Colabello is the mark. You've got to get him. You don't want Martin up with the bases loaded.
And d'Arnaud wants a conversation. You know, it strikes me that, you know, Parnell developed that curveball a few years ago, which became a good weapon for him, but there was so much separation between his fastball and his curve. It's not the case anymore with the diminished velocity. And I wonder whether that diminishes the effectiveness of the breaking ball.
Well, the harder the velocity on the breaking ball, Gary, the tougher the breaking ball is to hit. It's a much more sharper breaking ball. There's less velocity. It's more of a roller. Little cat and mouse here. Colabello stepped out, asked for time. Big pitch.
2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Colabello. Struck him out. Bobby Parnell with the out he absolutely had to have. Toronto gets 2. A base running blunder might have cost him more. don't miss a moment of Mets baseball on the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network, only from Verizon. 20-year-old Roberto Osuna will make his second appearance in the series.
Very impressive outing last night from Osuna. Good stuff. Fastball, changeup. Had a solid innings work. One strikeout. John McEnroe just stopped in the booth in between to say hello. We know John's a big Met fan.
Came in wearing his Prince t-shirt. I thought that was very special. Since you and I both have the purple ties on tonight, and he went with the theme.
That's right.
Without even knowing. Well, the Mets could use some runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning, up 3-2. The Orioles, by the way, have hit 7 home runs tonight, and it's only the 6th inning. The Phillies
are just disaster.
About to lose their 12th in a row on the road. Fastball in for a strike, 0-1.
Was it a Keith Richards or a Prince?
Oh, really? It looked like Prince to me. Obviously, I was mistaken.
Yes.
Well, you know, Keith's been known to wear some purple in his day. 1-1 to Duda. Duda 1 for 3 on the night, singled back in the 1st inning. Duda, d'Arnaud, and Flores for the Mets in the home 8th. Mets got 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd against the starter Scott Copeland. The Toronto bullpen's been good at holding the fort tonight. And Duda pops one up into shallow left. This time there's somebody playing there. And Colabello is there to grab it 1 out. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. So now Travis d'Arnaud 1 for 3, had a base hit in the 3rd that set up the 3rd Met run that right now is the difference in this game. Well, the good news for the Mets is that they cleared the big home run bats in the 8th inning. The bad news is that Russell Martin will lead off for the Jays in the 9th. And he's been hot as well. Big swing by d'Arnaud on the 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, there's nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like Bobby Parnell is going to continue on into the 9th. So what you'd have to consider uncharted territory for Parnell in his return from Tommy John surgery.
Well, yes, since his return, but he's familiar with saving ball games.
Two from Osuna, and that's on the outside corner. And 3 pitches takes care of d'Arnaud for the 2nd out. This is one very impressive 20-year-old.
Yes, he is. Fastball away. I think d'Arnaud was looking for something else.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Wilmer Flores, who has a double and a sacrifice fly tonight. He's driven in a run. He's scored a run. And he pops this one up. Playable for Encarnacion in foul ground. And a very easy inning for Roberto Osuna. So Bobby Parnell will head back to the mound for the 9th, with the Mets trying to close out a 1-run game. Opportunity to win prizes from Delta Airlines. Go to Mets.com/Delta Dugout to sign up now. Well, Bobby Parnell's last save came July 30th, 2013, before his disc surgery that ended that season for him. He pitched on opening day last year, blew a save, and he's looking for his first save since that July save in 2013. Russell Martin leads off and takes a curveball that misses for ball one. So Sean Gilmartin up in the bullpen. Martin leading off. He struck out 3 times against Harvey. Deoner Navarro was on deck to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot. That's the 7th spot in the order. And Martin pulls one foul. Tejada was playing right on the line. If that was a fair ball, he would have had it. Interesting note on Parnell, who got the last out in the 8th. Parnell has had 3 saves of more than an inning in his career. Jerry's Familia has 4 of those already this year. Parnell generally has been a 1-inning guy. He's got 2 outs, trying to get 3 more. And Martin takes a strike. 1-2. Aaron Loop and Brett Cecil, the 2 lefties, are up in the Toronto bullpen. Cecil, the closer for Toronto, took the loss in last night's game. Parnell ahead 1-2 on Martin. Sells the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That's as hard as he's thrown since he's been back. There's Navarro on deck to pinch hit. Two. Down slowly. Foul. Martin trying to avoid the dreaded golden sombrero tonight.
Trying to get on base here, and this would be a terrific story right here if Parnell can close this out. Remember now, Parnell's back. You've got Familia that needs a rest. You've got a veteran here that's used to having a save. So when you have a situation like this with Familia where you can't use him, it's not a bad thing to have a guy like Parnell there to back up.
2-2. Martin hits one past the mound. Flores to his left, sweeps it up. Got it. Nice play, Wilmer Flores. 1 out.
Wilmer had thoughts that he wasn't going to get to it, but he really shows some range. He's playing dead pull here. It's a long way to go. Very nice.
That's a big play by Flores to get the first out of the inning.
Nice play.
So Parnell has the first out of the 9th. And now Deoner Navarro to pinch hit. Navarro started behind the plate last night, went 0 for 3, drove in the go-ahead run in the 11th with a sacrifice fly.
Big shift, pull hitter, got to keep the ball away. You want to try to hit it out of the ballpark, and you try to do it on a pitch away. Good breaking ball. Best one he's thrown. Gary right there. Good sharp slider. Watch the down tilt. Good pitch.
And that shift, Tejada is playing out in shallow right field. And Navarro pulls off that pitch, and it's 0-2. Ryan Goins, the on-deck batter. Struck him out. Parnell with his 2nd strikeout, and the Jays are down to their final out of the night.
3 straight breaking balls. 2 of them not strikes. Navarro, guy that chases. You can pitch bad pitches. Parnell, very crafty.
So Parnell being asked to get a 5-out save. He's gotten the first 4. Akil Morris is up in the Mets bullpen, but it's Bobby Parnell that the Mets are leaning on in just his 3rd appearance back from Tommy John surgery to try and close it out on a night where Jerry's Familia is unavailable. Ryan Goins, the final hope for Toronto, 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. And he takes a fastball for a strike. 30-year-old Bobby Parnell reestablishing himself in the 9th inning. the strike to Goins. If Goins keeps it going, Kevin Pillar would be next.
Kevin Pillar, if they lose this game, is going to wear the goat horns.
Terrible base running mistake in the last inning. 1-1 from Parnell. And Goins fouls it off. And now the Jays are down to their final strike. Tried the quick pitch. Everybody on the staff's throwing that now. The legacy of LaTroy Hawkins.
Hey, not a bad idea.
Pillar hoping for a chance of redemption on deck. One time in his career, Parnell's had a 5-out save, and that was 6 years ago. Needs one more strike. It up. Siciliani is there, and the ball game is over. Bobby Parnell with a 5-out save. His first save since Tommy John surgery. He nails it down from Matt Harvey, who went 7 brilliant innings, and the Mets sweep the first 2 of this home-and-home series from the Blue Jays and win 5 of the last 6 on their homestand.
Well, I tell you what, started out 0-2, losing the first 2 games, the no-hitter in the first game of the homestand, and to come back and have a 5-3 homestand here against a red-hot team, the Toronto, that came in here with 11-game streak. Boy, oh boy, good pitching, timely hitting, and comeback victories. A very, very nice homestand.
Only the 3rd save for the Mets this year for somebody other than Jeurys Familia. They needed Parnell in the worst way today, and he came through. Matt Harvey's 7 scoreless innings for his 7th win of the year. The game summary presented by Verizon, and Parnell, in just his 3rd appearance back from Tommy John surgery, goes the extra mile to get the save for the Mets tonight. For every Mets win, the Mets Foundation is proud to contribute $2,500 to the Cats Women's Hospital and the Cats Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit NorthShoreLIJ.com/KIWH. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $90,000. Well, when we are done here, it's WB Mason postgame live. Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa will have all the highlights, all the postgame interviews, and all the analysis. The Mets cool off the hottest team in baseball by sweeping 2 at Citi Field from the Jays. Bobby Parnell returning to the 9th inning and doing it successfully tonight. Mets win 3-2. We'll be right back to Citi Field.